Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ideas Sin. My name is Denise. I am your host, and today I'm excited to bring to you Christian. How's it going, Christian?
Denise, thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate that. Everything is well, and yeah, here I am.
Well, so far, so good, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and you're starting your morning off in Malaysia, which is
That's
amazing. How are things over in Malaysia nowadays? Is it like a summer season? Is it winter? What is it like over there now?
Well, basically, as Malaysia is very close to the equator, there is mostly only one season, which is warm and wet. We have rainforest over here. Whole Malaysia is basically a rainforest, and the humidity is very high. And as we are now, let's say in the middle of February, it starts picking up on being hot and wet. Let's say December, January is always, for me, rather nice. We have throughout the day, we have maybe only 28 degrees, or 25 sometimes. And in the night, it's getting cooler. We have, let's say, below 20, which is very nice. But now it starts picking up. I mean, average temperature in Malaysia in the year is 33 degrees. So now we have, it's getting warm, it's getting hot, and you will need to use the AC more or less the whole day.
Yeah. Oh, that must be nice. I haven't been to Malaysia yet, but it is on my list to go check out
Yes,
more of
you
the
definitely
Asian
should
countries.
visit. I can highly recommend that.
Well, and actually, now that we're talking about that, so one of the topics is that you do videography and a lot of like audio video work. So
Yes.
when you're working over in Malaysia, how does that environment affect your technology or even your filming or recording process?
Okay, well, what I basically film in Malaysia most of the time is at the moment only like myself, like I'm recording videos for social media or for YouTube or something like that. But I don't have much client work over here. Most of my client work is in Europe. And that's why I'm also traveling a lot. I'm traveling once a month usually between Germany and Malaysia. Right now, today is Thursday, and on Monday early morning, I'm flying back to Frankfurt for another. I think this time is a little bit longer. Usually is like 1 month here, 1 month there. So, but when it comes to recording and your actual question, because it is wet and warm, you need to make sure that your battery is always in a good condition. You can't just, I mean, in Germany, when I'm traveling, when I'm driving around with my car there, I can leave the things in the car for a few hours. It doesn't matter. In Malaysia, maybe you don't want to do that because it's really getting hot. And when batteries are exposed to a long time being over 40 or even 45 degrees, 50 degrees in a car easily like that, you better take them out. You better bring them along where it's indoor is always, even if there is no AC, it's not like 50 degrees. So we are talking about Celsius. Sorry, I don't know so much about Fahrenheit. I'm not familiar with this.
Wait, and you said what degrees in Celsius?
50.
Oh, 50. Okay. So wait, 50 Celsius. So, oh, okay. You know what? Never mind.
Wait.
I was going to do some calculations in my head, but I'm like, wait a second. I'm just going to get it wrong and I don't need to embarrass myself.
But let me quickly
Because
check that up.
50 sounds
It's
really hot.
122.
Yeah, I was going to say that
122
sounds hot.
Fahrenheit. And that can be easily in a car. I mean, for
Yeah.
sure, in the US, it's the same. If you park the car somewhere in the sun for a few hours in summer, it tends to heat up a lot. That's not good for batteries. And as you have your equipment like I do. I have my equipment in the car for some time, and I'm not driving. I'm just parked somewhere. That's not good if I do that in Malaysia. In Germany, it's pretty fine. Or wherever I am in Europe, it's pretty fine. So
Yeah.
yeah, what I found out in Malaysia is that basically the things are not lasting that long like
Hmm.
in Europe because of the condition of the weather, because of that wet and humid climate. Batteries tend to
Yeah.
break down faster. They are draining faster. And it's not only with this, it's with shoes, for example. I realized the glue will go off after 2 or 3 years, and then the sole
Mhm.
and the glue just tend to part ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
While the same shoes in Germany, where you don't have this high humidity, they last forever, 10 years or what longer. Yeah. Here,
Yeah.
after 2, 3 years, good luck.
Oh my goodness. I mean, but that's a lot to keep track of, especially for your
Yes, it's
work where you
true.
have so much equipment and you have to really be knowledgeable about every component of the piece of equipment that you're carrying around. I mean, like,
Yes.
how much equipment are you technically carrying around on any given day or project, for example?
It depends because mostly, okay. Most of my equipment I still have in Germany because most of my
Mm,
shoots are within Europe. It's in London, it's in France, in Spain, in Germany, of course, Switzerland,
mhm.
Austria, Denmark. But mostly the big equipment I have there. But what I travel with always is my small compact Sony camera and basically another camera that I have like two perspectives if I'm filming myself because it looks
Mhm.
more nice when
Yeah.
you do video work. Um, and those things I always travel with in my hand luggage, and then I have a few things I always also need to bring along, like adapters and batteries, obviously. But I also have some like basic filming equipment in Malaysia. But yeah, it's always like this, like you mentioned, you come back, okay, you check your things, everything is working, all right, good. If not, you need to replace it, or you need to find other ways to make sure it's not spoiled. Yeah, it's always like
Yeah.
that. So
And I'm just thinking
yeah,
of, oh, mhm.
no, sorry, I was actually done.
Oh, no, that's okay. I know because I'm thinking you're even mentioning traveling, and so even going through security and flying with the equipment, I typically fly with a lot of my own technology and equipment as well.
Yeah.
But I'm imagining you, it's like, oh, what? How are you divvying that up between your luggage? Do you end up checking any equipment in, or is it primarily carry on as much as you can? But I mean, even then, I'm thinking some equipment can't fit in a carry-on, so how are you transporting that without it getting
Um,
damaged or stolen?
Yeah, true. Okay, being the things getting stolen is pretty rare. I would say, at
Yeah,
least
that's good.
with my experience, I'm always flying. I mean, between Europe and Malaysia, I'm always taking Emirates. So I would say I'm rather on the safe side when it comes to this. However, when it comes to check-in luggage, you can't check in anything that has a battery, right? So all the battery stuff you need to put into your carry-on. That works so far pretty well, even though I have to say they better don't weigh my carry-on because I think 7 kg is allowed. And
Yeah,
usually I'm
that could be a
going
lot.
off with 15. Yeah.
Yeah.
So luckily they don't check it. Um, but yeah, it's I mean, for me this is like more or less everyday work. For somebody who is not used to that, it sounds like, oh my god, how can I organize all of this? But I'm so used to that. I mean, for me it's basically very normal, and I'm happy if I can go through security where they installed already the new scanners. There are scanners now. You don't need to
Mhm.
take out your laptop and your electronics anymore. All you need to make sure that you are not wearing like a belt and stuff like that when you go through security. But the scanner itself, they can scan pretty well. And sometimes I'm lucky in Dubai or in Frankfurt, for example, where they have the new scanner already. However, in Malaysia, at the gate where I usually need to go, they don't have the new scanner, so I need to basically lay out in one layer so they can scan it easily. I need to take out a few things, then they scan, then I put them back in. All right, usually maybe it takes 2 more minutes, but I'm used to that, so I know what to do and how to do it.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's kind of even going back to the origin story of how long you've been doing this for, because I know that we spoke and you've had a passion for
Yes.
this for quite a bit of time. So what was that initial interest in a lot of this video work and production work?
Well, okay, now I really need to go back
Back into time.
back into time. Okay. After school, I wanted to make money. That was my first goal. All right, you're done with all of the boring stuff, sitting down, learning whatever you never need. All right, let's put yourself to some use and make some money. And I've been doing that. I've been starting out with insurance. After I've been with Allianz, which you might have heard of as a insurance company.
Yeah.
I've been there almost 2 years. Then I started to become an insurance broker. And I've been doing that for a few years. I've been selling health insurance, and I've been quite successful with this. I had a nice car. I mean, I was young, 23, 24, 25 years old. Other things are important than what is
Yeah.
important to me now. Yeah. So back then was like, oh, nice car and a nice apartment and everything. And I can afford this and that. And life was good. And then after a while, I've started to work together with a business partner and friend of mine. And we slowly switched from I slowly switched from being the insurance broker guy towards building up companies. We had a holding structure, and we've been starting out with a coaching business where we also taught people about financial stuff and how they best can prepare for the next crisis. Let's say, like, instead of buying fiat money or taking fiat money like US dollar or euro, rather go ahead and buy some gold and silver just to prepare for whatever happens, like the next financial crash. And that was basically shortly after 2009, Lehman Brothers, 2010, around that time. Yeah. When we started that, and it was working well. The people were interested into this, and so on and so on. Okay. It's a long story now already, I know, but bear with me.
It's the origin story.
It's
so it's okay.
But of course, I mean, I need to when I tell you the result directly, you don't understand my way of getting there. Yeah, so I that's why I dig deep into the past. Okay, I will go on. My business partner and friend's wife started to have breast cancer. And from this point on, we decided that we dive into health coaching as well, because there are many natural ways of healing cancer that you don't know, basically, because your doctor don't earn anything from that if he doesn't prescribe you the chemotherapy. But that's a different part. We've been diving deep into this topic. However, she went cancer-free for, I think, 2 or 3 months, and then her dad passed away. And her dad was everything. And she gave up. She basically gave up. She started to eat Ben & Jerry's and Nutella from the glass directly. Oh, yeah. Cancer came back, and she died, I think, half a year later.
Oh, wow.
Around that. Yeah. My business partner and friend, totally devastated, no chance to go on in any way. And as I mentioned before, we transitioned already from like this typical insurance stuff and financial stuff into this kind of coaching idea. And I've been building up those companies with him. And we had people to do all of that. Okay, however, after we've been at this point that his wife passed away and he was out of order for sure 1 year. There were two options for me. I couldn't do all of this alone. So either I've been going back selling real estate, selling health insurance and insurance in general again, which I didn't want it to do anymore. I felt like empty inside of me, I felt like I was looking for like some kind of higher purpose maybe. I didn't feel good doing what I've been doing. Or that was the second option, or doing something else, because the company was not working at that moment. We couldn't do anything. I couldn't do it alone. So it was then when I've been sitting down in my office one day. I don't remember the day, but I've been staring into the laptop and I remind myself. I remembered suddenly, like had a like a brainwave or what from a memory from so many years ago, and I've been seeing myself playing with Lego bricks when I was a child, when I was 8 or 9 years old boy. But I didn't play with police stations and fire stations and whatever. I've been building film studios and TV studios with my Lego bricks. That was always something that I was genuinely interested in. I loved doing that. I loved watching a talk show on TV and then recreate that with Lego bricks and build that up, everything. And I tried to shake off that thought, I tried to, come on, you're an insurance broker, maybe you're a CEO of some kind or a businessman, entrepreneur, but you're not a filmmaker. Christian, don't be ridiculous. My voice, my inner voice, Don't be ridiculous. You've never been to film school. You have no idea about all of this. Yes, you are interested, but come on. But it was not possible. I couldn't shake it off like that. And I was like, okay, what does it take? And then I was already drawn to that. And I started to do some research and what is necessary. Okay, long story short, 1 month later, I called a friend. He came over. We built a green screen studio, in 50 square meters green screen studio. That translates around to 450, 500 square feet. Not big at all. Just like
little studio. Yeah.
Very basic. But back then, that was in 2015. Back then, everyone wanted to be in a virtual studio. I don't know if you remember that time around, but everyone you've been seeing online having a video course, he or she was in some kind of fancy virtual studio. You've been seeing it was not real, but everyone wanted to have that. And I was like, okay, then we built that. So I have some client coming up. Okay, however, after I built that was fast, maybe like 1 or 2 weeks. I started out, I've been diving in, I've been buying equipment, I had some money aside, so I was able to do that. Okay. And it didn't pick up, but what happened was that, I don't know, God, the Buddha, the universe, or whatever, said like, oh, Christian, looks like you finally found something that you love. So let me open the gate for you. It must have been like this, because I met, through a former business partner, I met another business partner who became then business partner and friend of mine, and I'm still working with him now. So he introduced me to a guy who was responsible for doing the WTA's Mallorca Open. WTA is the Women's Tennis Association. And the Mallorca Open back then was a tournament on the Spanish island of Mallorca. I'm not sure if you have heard about Mallorca, but Mallorca for Europe is like maybe the Bahamas for the US. It's rich. All the rich people going there. they have vacation, and everyone want to go to Mallorca. It's like a very exclusive luxury island, but you can do all sorts of vacation there, but it's mostly a vacation. Okay, so after I've been drawn into this and I knew that it was so special with this Mallorca Open because it was the last grass tournament before Wimbledon coming up. That means the top 20 of the world's women's tennis player were coming to this event to train, because there was the last chance to basically have a tournament before Wimbledon where they can train and like really under those circumstances of a match, to train. So my job was to capture all of the background stuff. The WTA, they are very professional. All is live broadcasted. They bring their own people for filming the tournament itself, but they haven't had anyone to film the background, the VIP parties, the all of those things. And they needed a sponsor video for next year because it was the first ever time that happened in Mallorca. So I've been there and I've been doing that the first year. And to make things, to shorten things, I've been doing that 3 consecutive years. All of the time it actually took place in Mallorca. It was 3 years and then there were no more Mallorca Open. So I must have done something right. Don't ask me what now, because I've been just starting out. But somehow I made it work out for them. And that was actually basically my start into that niche of filmmaking.
Oh, that's really great. And I'm actually very I know Mallorca. I just discovered it really last year. Mallorca kept coming up, and I'm kind of sidetracking a little bit just to give you some info on that. But
Yes.
I had gone to Portugal and then to Spain, and I was like, oh, I want to check out this island because it keeps popping up. And I get there, and it's an island where, like you're saying, like there's a lot of training facilities. It's really great for athletes, and I'm really into cycling. And so I went and
perfect.
it was great. I was able to go and rent a bike. And then when I give them my ID, they look at my last name and they're like, oh, you have family here. And I'm like, what? It was like, there was a ton of apparently family members that lived on the island. And I was just really shocked. I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of like the origin of my last name, which I thought was really cool. So, for some reason, Mallorca has a little bit of magic in there. So it's really cool to hear that you started off over there and doing some filming and events. And so,
I also lived there for 2 years, actually, then.
Oh, you did?
Later on. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's amazing. And so,
because, let me just take it from there. After I've been doing the Mallorca Open, the people were seeing me. I was able to connect and network with a lot. And you have to see that a lot of Germans actually living on that island. We call it our 17th state. Yeah. Mallorca is like Germany's 17th state, even though it belongs to Spain. But so many Germans every year come to have vacation there and also live there. I think back then it was roughly 100,000 or 90,000 Germans living on that island. And I mean, it's just an island. It's not a small island. You still need 2 hours driving from one side to the other. Yes. Or one and a half, 145 you need, but still it's an island. But at the same time, you can do so much there. And from me being flying, basically I've been flying Monday, I've been flying to Mallorca, and Friday I've been flying back home to Germany, and that was for months. I've been doing that for months. And I was like, are you crazy? Why you still keep your apartment in Germany? And back then I've been also flying to Malaysia as well, because back then my girlfriend, now my wife, living here. So I was always like in a triangle, between countries. And I was like, okay, Germany, you have clients there. But at that moment, I had a lot more clients in Mallorca. than in Germany. So I moved to Mallorca. And once I moved, that shifted. Very funny. Then I was living in Mallorca, and basically most of my clients were in Germany.
Really? That's so interesting. Huh. Why
So
is that, you think?
I have no idea. I really have no idea. So I've been doing the same thing with traveling all over for another 2 years until I decided, okay, Mallorca was a nice experience and was nice to be there. And I love that island. It's one of them. I mean, if you don't know Mallorca, you know it, yeah. But if the people who listen to the podcast don't know Mallorca, it's really worth checking. I think, if not mistaken, Condé Nast Traveler is putting that on the list
Oh,
of the
yeah.
top 5 islands in the world every year, because it's so, you can do so much. You can have the beach holiday.
Mhm.
You can do cycling in the mountains. I mean, they have mountains there that
Yeah.
are covered in snow in the winter. It's crazy, yeah. And
Mhm.
it's a Mediterranean island. Yeah? You can do snorkeling. They have caves over there. It's crazy. Yeah. Sorry for advertising here. Yeah. But
And they have wine, which is great if anybody's into wine, so that's another
yeah,
one, but
wine and
so
olive
good.
oil. And when they
Yeah.
have their, what is that, almond season, it's beautiful to see because all
Yeah.
the almond trees are blooming. It's almost like sakura, in
Oh,
Japan.
yeah.
It's really nice. But however, after like 2 years, I've been looking back and I'm like, yeah, it's nice to live in Mallorca, and the quality of life is higher than living in Germany and having, yeah, I mean, you're basically at the water all the time, and you can, yeah, palm trees, and it's just nice. But it was no point of going on anymore doing that. So I was like, yeah, okay, um, then where to live, Germany or Malaysia? Because back then I was more in Malaysia than I was
Yeah.
in Germany, and more in Malaysia than I was in Mallorca. So I decided to move to Malaysia and just have this
Mhm.
back and forth between Germany and Malaysia, but not the triangle anymore. It was saving a
Mhm.
lot of time and also money, of course.
Yeah. No, and that's quite a bit to just constantly go to those 3. I can only imagine it
Yes,
just wears on you after some time, and, I think it's great to have a passion for the work that you do, but
yes.
then how do you truly feel at home anywhere in particular when you're just constantly, like, in and out, in and out? Did you ever experience that? Like, sometimes a difficulty of connection, or just, I don't know, like, feeling like you couldn't really settle in anywhere?
Okay, actually, I really feel like I have two homes. I mean,
Mm.
I'm German in my heart, in my soul. I'm German. I have the German uh, perfectionism, yeah, in many things, yeah, which can be good, but also can be quite annoying to other people. Uh, but so yeah, I feel home in Germany because, of course, it is my home. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm so long in Malaysia now, and always coming, and yeah, basically I'm living here and I'm loving the attitude, the character of the people, how they are. It's so much more easygoing than in Germany. Or
Mhm.
maybe also than in, let's say, in the Western world, yeah. Because here in Asia, it's more like, yeah, you just enjoy life more. You work
Yeah.
hard, no doubt, but at the end of the day, you're not that kind of grumpy, like the German
Yeah.
attitude can be always. The Germans don't understand jokes that much. The sense of humor is very limited. Yeah. While here, the
Mhm.
people don't take everything so serious. It's just like, yeah, whatever. I mean, come on, one day we die, so why not enjoy life now? Yeah? and
Yeah.
and I like that kind of attitude. And yeah, and then when it comes to food, oh yeah, Malaysia is just amazing because we
Really?
have so many cultures here. We have, I mean, my wife is Malaysian Chinese, so originally the family is coming from China, Hong Kong area there, Guangdong. You have Indians, 20% of the population. So yeah, 20% population roughly are Indians. 30% are Chinese.
Mm,
And then you have 50% Malay. Mostly they are following
okay.
Islam. So you have a lot of different cultures weaving in together. And this is interesting, not only with food, but also with how they deal with each other. I don't know
Mm.
why it's working here, but somehow it's working. They are like, they say one Malaysia, and yeah, somehow it's working. I don't know how and why, but everyone getting along with each other, respecting their culture, their religion, but still interacting with each other. There is a mosque next to a Hindu temple, and then next to a
Mm.
Chinese temple, and it's working perfect. It's just
Yeah.
nice to see.
So it seems like there's just, yeah, so like common respect amongst diversity.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And
And
also, even though
yeah.
it is a Muslim country in general, because the majority, barely majority, is like 50%, yeah, 55% is Malay or Islamic, but still, it's not strict in terms of clothing, for example. I mean,
Mm.
every Chinese or also Indian, they run around in hot pants. It's warm. It's really warm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and spaghetti top and everything is
Yeah.
fine. Nobody says anything. You can go to the mall like that. Different from the Gulf states, for example, or GCC countries like UAE and Saudi Arabia and so on. It's very very limited, or a lot more limited there. But here, maybe also because it's forever like this. The Chinese always had a minority here, and the Indian always were a minority here for hundreds of years. It's just working well together. It's just, yeah, and maybe that's also what I like, the easygoing of things, kind of.
Yeah, what do you think could be the underlying reason why people get along? Like I noted respect earlier, but that doesn't have to be it. But for you, what do you think is that underlying foundational piece that just kind of brings everybody together?
Okay, I believe, but I don't know. I'm not a scientist with this, but I believe what is a big reason is that Malaysia was not always Muslim. They started to be Muslim around 900 or 1,000 years ago, and before that they were mostly they were drawn to Hinduism and Buddhism. And then the ones from Indonesia, now is Indonesia, back then was Sumatra, they took over and they basically said, what do you want? Your life? Yeah? So you become a Muslim. All right, let's become Muslim. Yeah? That's how the transition was back then. And they established sultanates and so on. But I believe from this past, the people are still more open to other cultures because back in their hearts, they were maybe not, the first few generations were not that deep into Islam than they are now. I mean, the Malay, they are Islam and respect and all of this is very nice, but they are coming from a different background, not 2000 or I don't know how many years, or since it started out, they were not Muslim. They were coming from a different culture, different background. And also, another thing is migration to Malaysia took place for centuries, basically. It was not like, okay, now let's open the border and come in, and let's see how you align with it. It's happening for so many years. There are families that origin 400-500 years from China, and they are here, or from India, and they are here in Malaysia. They now they look like the Malay look, a little bit more tanned, from the skin color. But originally, if they really go back, their ancestors, they will be from this part or from that part of the world. So Malaysia was maybe a multicultural country for many hundred years, and I guess that is why they are more open and more relaxed with this.
Yeah, that's interesting. And for you, coming from Germany, and I know you've traveled a bit and to different places and regions, but
Yeah.
how's that been adapting to a new culture?
Okay, you know, for me, I would say it's rather easy, because the Malaysians, they love Germany, they love German cars. Everyone wants to drive a Mercedes or an Audi, yeah, or a BMW or a Porsche
Yeah.
or whatever. German car, they love it. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Then when you say you're from Germany, either it's about cars or it's about football.
Oh, really?
Oh, you're Bavaria, Munich, yeah, like those Champions League stuff. I'm not a football guy, so
You're
I
like, I don't know.
honestly don't know much about it. Yeah. But it turns out we won the World Championship 4 times, and for Malaysia, that's like, oh, you're from Germany. It's those two topics. Yeah. Um,
Champions. Yeah.
yeah. Exactly like this. Yeah. And then, of course, they like the German attitude of being like on focus, being on point, being a perfectionist, engineer quality. They put that on top of me, even though I'm just a filmmaker. But for me,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
rather easy to get along here. They are more interested in why I'm here, why I like the country, how come I stay here, you know, those kind of things. So for me, it's pretty easy. I mean, where I stay is a city with 100,000 people living here. I think for many years, I was the only white guy. Now I think we have another 2 guys. One is from the US, one is from UK, and that's it.
Hmm.
So it's still, I mean, I'm not in Kuala Lumpur. I'm not in the capital. There are many foreigners. But I'm rather like 1.5 hours drive up north in a rather suburb but relaxed area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it's fine. The people love me. They like me. They always want to talk with me about this and
Mm.
that. Yeah, different perspective of life as well.
Yeah. And that would be interesting. I'm already kind of coming up with like a little mini documentary series you can get into
Hmm.
of really like your experience coming from Germany to Malaysia and just the fusion of the two cultures and seeing how even though you guys are so drastically different in many ways that you
Yeah.
guys still can appreciate so much of each other and what you've learned from each other. And I could see you kind of like interviewing some other Malays around there and just being like, hey, tell me about this. And then you're telling your story. Anyway, you don't have to do it. It's just an idea that popped in my head because
No,
it's
but
it's
sounds
just a
nice.
beautiful like
Yes.
fusion of different cultures. And so I
Yes.
think that would be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I also believe that travel is so important to open up your perspective to other cultures. I mean, I I didn't even know what I don't know before I traveled.
Mhm.
You are drawn into some culture. You need to first you need to observe, and then only you can try to understand. But trying to understand is good already because you are willing to accept it, and that's what I like actually about that. And of course, there are so many differences between my like home culture, how I grow up, compared to the people here. But it's nice to see, and yeah, and it's nice to explore.
Hmm. Now so I know you mentioned a lot of your work is primarily in Germany, but is the film industry pretty big or I don't know, even developed in Malaysia?
Well, pretty big is always, I would say, it
Relative, right?
depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, we have film studios here. We have a lot of TV here, but due to the fact that Malaysia is, I think, 30 million or 33 million population, and it stretches. There is West Malaysia and there is East Malaysia. And East Malaysia is on an island called Borneo. You travel 3 hours
Mhm.
or 2 hours from one side of Malaysia to the other side of Malaysia, and it's there is water in between. There is a big ocean in between. It's not super easy to connect. That's one thing. Then the next thing is it's so diverse that you have 20% Chinese, 30% Chinese, 50% Malay, 18% Indian, and they all want to watch their own films and they all want to watch their own shows.
Yeah.
So if you have you need to imagine like this. In the US, maybe I know you have also like hundreds of channels and it's crazy, yeah? But basically, one news show would be enough. They talk in English, the people understand it, done.
Mm-hmm.
Here, that doesn't work. You have at least 3 news shows, one in Malaysian language, which is Bahasa, one in Chinese, and one in Indian. And if you want to have another one, so everyone can listen to it, it would be also Bahasa or English. So you have 4 shows already. They talk the same, but in different languages. And that's how the TV over here or the TV program works. You have series about Chinese families that you take from Singapore or from Hong Kong. You buy them in and you show them to the Chinese community. You can use Indonesian series and also Malay Bahasa based series because they basically speak a very similar language. Indonesia and Malaysia is a very similar language. They understand each other. So you can bring up that for the majority. But you also need to bring up some Indian stuff from India, or you record it here locally. So it's very mixed and not so easy, I would say. Because you always need to, the target group differs a lot. The Chinese own a lot of businesses here. Malaysia is doing good in economy because of the Chinese, because of their way of how to conduct business and how to build up companies and so on and so on. That's mostly Chinese based. So they are having a different approach. For me as a filmmaker, mostly focused on commercial advertising, I know how to find out the right target group. But in Malaysia, it's a bit difficult as well for me because the target group is already small with 30 million. All right. But then you need to divide it more down. You need to divide more. Okay, this one is Malay. You need to be careful with the culture, with Islam. You cannot bring everything up as a commercial. Yeah, you can't make sexualized jokes or any things of that because they will get it wrong. Even though you don't mean it wrong and you just mean it funny, they will not understand it because their culture is not like that. While the Chinese, they laugh about it. Yeah? So you need to make sure that you find the right way of hitting the target group. And this is not easy. That's why maybe, for example, Thailand is a lot more advanced with storytelling in commercials. In Malaysia, they still need some time to pick up.
How do you see that potentially changing the kind of work that you do in Malaysia?
Well, my biggest issue that I have here is that not everyone can speak English. And I'm not speaking Chinese, even though I learned 1.5 years, but forget it. I don't speak Bahasa as well, which is the Malaysian language. So it's not easy. In the city, yes. But when it comes to me being some sort of helper for those kind of businesses, you need to speak the local languages. And they use mostly because also my wife is Malaysian Chinese. Obviously, I'm surrounded by 80% of the people I'm surrounded with. They are Chinese or Chinese ethnicity. So they speak Chinese or they speak Cantonese, depending on which part of China they originally come from. They have another few accents, but no need to mention is okay. I also don't understand them anyway. So you need to go to this level. Actually, you need to first is always the language.
Mm.
That comes first, and through the language you slowly can start to understand a culture. That's what I believe. And yes, I want to learn those languages, and yes, I still need to find some time for that.
Yeah, it can
So
be a
it's,
lot.
yeah, when it comes to working here, actually it's not super easy for me, because the, yeah, I mean, not even English is my first language, and I would say
Yeah.
I don't know all the nice words, but I can communicate. It works pretty well for me.
Yeah, I think you're doing great.
Thank you. But yeah, you know what I mean. If two Americans
Yeah.
speak with each other fast, and it is a topic that is maybe not mainstream, or not, I'm not so much into it. Maybe I
Mhm.
also don't understand all of the
Yeah.
words, and even more with British. And yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's really tough for me. Really tough. So when, and the same is here. Yeah, I mean, yes,
Mhm.
you can. I started, like I said before, I started to learn Chinese for 1.5 years, and I know some basics, and I understand the very basic language. But that's not where an understanding of a culture starts. That starts later, when you understand, okay, why do they talk in that way? Why they build their sentence like this? For example, in the Chinese language, there is no such thing like direct language. They will not tell you, "Oh, Denise, you didn't do that good."
Mhm.
There is no such thing like that. They will say, "You did that very good. You did that super good. But next time, maybe you want to improve this."
Yeah.
You know, it's a
Mm.
different way of talking with each other. In English, you can be very direct. In German, you are super direct. You are so direct
Yeah.
that even for English-speaking people, it's tough to be confronted with the German way of talking, because we don't giving any compliment. Mostly, what we say is, "Yeah, that is not bad," but not "that's good." If we say "that's not bad," that's already a compliment in my language, in the original German language.
That's not too bad.
But
Yeah.
like how you do that in the US, that you just approach somebody you like, and you will say like, "Oh, I love your shoes. Where did you buy them?" We don't have
Mhm.
this culture in Germany as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you just don't do it like that. If somebody will come to you and say, "Oh, I love your outfit. You look so good," the German will be like either error. Yeah, there will be like an error message coming back. Yeah, because they're like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to respond.
Wait,
Yeah,
what do you mean?
or there will be super like over, because I know in the US that's basically more or less normal that you talk like
Yeah.
this with each other. Maybe it's not very honest, I don't know, yeah, but it's a way of
Hmm.
expressing, yeah, and on a daily basis. And in Germany, the people will be like, "Oh, you really like my outfit? Oh, thank you." Yeah? They will be overwhelmed from this, because they
Ah.
don't hear that very
Hmm.
often, yeah, at least. Yeah. So it comes through the culture. And yeah, back to your original question, that's not so easy. And maybe that's also one of the reasons why I have most of my clients in Europe.
Hmm. Yeah, that is really interesting to learn about that dynamic and how, yeah, just even accepting a compliment. I mean, it's interesting because you say that they get so excited because they never hear it, and then here in the US, there's sometimes a battle with even accepting a compliment where people put themselves down and they're like, "No, no, 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 like, no, you're not talking about me. Like, no, this thing, no." Like they try to shoot down the compliment, and
Hmm.
there's that mentality that sometimes we have to wrap our heads around of, no, we're okay to receive a compliment. We're worthy of a compliment. It's okay.
Yeah,
Obviously, like you said, it depends the environment and the individuals, because some can come off as very disingenuous. But again, I
yeah.
think that really just depends on the environment and the people you surround yourself with. But
Exactly.
it,
That's what I
yeah.
believe. Yes, a lot. I mean, maybe it's not related, but I just want to give you an example. I know
Mhm.
tipping is very normal in the US.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In Germany, the tip is usually included in the food price already. So at the end of your restaurant visit, you or I still tip, but you don't have to. But you still
Mm.
tip if the service was good, and only if then the
Okay.
service was good. Now, last time I've been flying from Frankfurt, and I bought a bottle of water, and I pay by card, and it was in the machine that I was asked to tip. Yeah.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that was the first time I experienced this in a normal grocery store. I mean, you know those stores at the
Yeah.
airport, right?
Yeah.
Before you fly, you just buy a bottle of water. And I was like, why the hell do I want to tip?
Yeah.
I buy a bottle of water in a grocery store. I say hello to that guy behind the counter and tap a credit card, and that's it. There is no service. I can do that by myself. If it's a
Mhm.
self checkout counter, no need to. You know what I mean? For me, it is a little bit ridiculous, and I
Uh-huh.
love tipping if it's worth it. I like to go to a steakhouse or whatever kind of or sushi place, and and the service is good, and the waitress or the waiter coming by like every 5 minutes, checking if I still have enough wine, if not refill. Yeah. Ask me regularly. They see what's going on. They don't bring in the dishes too fast, and all those kind of things to me is service, and I
Mhm.
love to honor that. I also love they are paid already. Like I don't need to
Yeah.
tip like 10% or 20% like you need to do in the US, if not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like quite for me quite high. Yeah, but I still like to give like I don't know. Let's say the bill is 100 euro, then I will give 5 or 10 euro on top. And they will be
Mhm.
very happy with this because, first of all, they have a good salary and I don't need to worry about them starving.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I honor their job. I respect their job. And that's something for me that I will give. But if they don't do good, I will not give a penny. And that's the difference. You need to do something
Yeah.
that I can. Yeah, it's the same for me. I'm a businessman since for I don't know how long. Yeah, if I do a good job, my client will book me again. My client will come back to me and say, "Hey, Christian, your video is turning out amazing. Come, let's do that again." But
Mhm.
throughout that process, I need to inform my client. I need to tell him, okay, now we're doing this. Now we're doing that. Is that okay? What do you think about that? I need to like we have a phrase taking him in German, I don't know in English as well. I take him into my boat, which means basically
Mm.
he is sitting with me and experiencing um, that whole path we are walking together.
Yeah.
I take him at my hand, and I show him how is it done if he wants to, of course. How is it done? Is there anything I need to do better? Is there anything I need to do in another way? So I'm always communicating with him or her, doesn't matter, about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
Mm.
And that's for me important. That's for me like what one kind of service. And if they are happy with it, usually they are, because most of my clients I work years with, and not just one project. I don't like just to do one project. It's not easy. You need to get to know each other first,
Yeah.
and actually you get to know each other from the first project, and then only the work together will be very smooth after that first project. So I like to work for many years with the same people and with the same client, and and then only I can make that work out in the long run, and that's what I believe is important. I mean that's important for me. That's service.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that because with the whole tipping thing, I'm thinking about the United States, and there are times you go to a restaurant, and even if you decide not to tip on poor service, they'll come back with like an attitude, like, "What do you mean you're not tipping?" Like I've seen that happen before, and it's interesting because yes, it's the same thing. It's like we should tip when there's good service and you're able to, and all
Yes.
of this stuff, but it's almost become like an expectation to some extent as well for some people, to a point where they don't really try to serve and they're just like, oh, whatever, like, what's your order? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I've lived in different places, and so I've experienced a lot of
Mm-hmm.
different attitudes or
Yeah.
or environments and
Yeah.
things like that. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I go to some places and there are people who would serve, and I'm just like, wow, like, you are literally the worst. And then you expect me to tip. Like, I could have
Yeah.
done this job a lot better. And it's just interesting because for some perspectives, there's a disconnect with what you said, where it's just an expectation, like, you're doing the job, you're expecting a tip, whatever. They
Yeah.
don't expect to provide a service, or they don't want to
Yes.
provide a service. It's interesting how people are trained on work ethic and what that means to them.
Yes.
Uh, but I think it also just depends, because if they're not trained or not given the proper education, or they're in a job they absolutely hate, what motivation do they have? But
Yeah, but
again,
also
it's all education, I think.
it is, but also, I mean, nobody needs to do that job, right?
Mm.
That's what I believe. Nobody needs to do a job that he or she don't want to do. So if you don't want to be a waitress or a waiter, then you don't be it. Then you find something else that you really like to do. But don't do something just because you need to make money. Of course, we all need to earn some money. That's obvious, yeah. But you need to find something in the long run that fulfills you. Otherwise, you will be miserable. You will be, I mean, more than miserable. You will hate yourself for doing that. And how can you stand that? That's what I believe. It's so important. You know, I witnessed I'm going out for food maybe more often than other people, and I witnessed really good service, and I love to appreciate that by giving them a nice tip, something that they will be like, oh wow, that's one of my favorite guests tonight. Let's say like that, yeah. But
Mm.
that is earned. That is earned from loving what you're doing, and that's what I believe is so important. And there, I don't mean, no. What I want to say is, you can be good and you can love your job no matter what job you're doing. There are how kind of I love to read books from Robin Sharma. I don't know if you know him or
Mm.
if you heard about him. Robin Sharma, he's also, I think, in the US, if not mistaken, but originally his parents from India, I think, yeah.
Okay.
And he wrote The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and the 5 a.m. Club, and all those kind of books. And what he says is basically what I believe is also true. If you are a roommate in a hotel, you make up the people's rooms in a hotel. You can either hate your job or you can love your job. But the difference is, you will be a lot more happy if you love it, if you love what you're doing, and you take the perspective of, you're not just cleaning somebody else's mess away, but you are actually preparing that room for the new guest to be appreciated in that hotel, and to have a good experience in that hotel, and to how to say, to make it a second home, because that's what a hotel should be ideally, yeah, to make it a second
Yeah.
home for somebody. And you might guess that I stay in hotels quite regularly. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
So so I know, I know the difference, and I sometimes even tip the roommate to some, yeah, if I see they do a very good job, and they always, yeah, like in some hotels they try their best to clean the rooms when the people are out for 2 or 3 hours. And in this time, they know, oh, okay, that guy is going out. We quickly clean their room, and then it's done already when they come back. And this attitude, and then also, yeah, how they behave and how everything is, it's different. You know, it's different from people who don't like to work in that job, but still work in it, than versus people who actually appreciate that and see it as a bigger thing. see it as a, maybe as a outlook of the hotel. I mean, that's also image building at the end. It's also marketing. If you're doing a good job and the room is always nice and tidy and perfect, who don't want to come back to this hotel, no matter how old that hotel might be?
Mm-hmm. And so for people who might be in jobs or careers that they absolutely hate, what would be a good way or a tip, do you think, that they can use to find something that they actually do enjoy? So let's say they really can't, take on that advice of loving that job.
Mm-hmm.
What else could they do to figure out what their passion is? I know you had that memory come into your mind and it just continued and continued. But if they don't get that memory or that external trigger, like what kind of tip would you provide them?
Well, I think that's not super easy to answer, but because I believe that we all of us, every human being know what they are supposed to do here on this planet. I just think that 90% of people have made that voice shut up in their brain. I think if I look back and if I listen to myself, and I did when I told you I was in this situation in front of my desk and there were crossroads and I needed to decide where to go to, I knew, my mind didn't want it to know that, but I knew that is the right way to proceed with filmmaking, because I was always interested in technical stuff, and I was always very creative. So I can combine those two things. And I have a good visual, how to say, when I see things, I can imagine that very well. So I don't need to do a lot of storyboarding for my films and for my videos, because I have it in my brain already. So with this kind of, let's say, talent or what, I felt like this is the right way to proceed and to go through. For somebody who is super unhappy with their job or with their career, it comes down to themselves. They need to sit down and maybe like really try to have some moment of silence and moment of peace, and maybe not only 1 minute where they take away the phone, turn off the music, and they need to start listening to themselves. What was the thing that always made you happy when you've been young, when you've been a kid? When have you had the last time that genuine interest in something? But maybe you need to dig deep, but you need to have some silence for that. I love to meditate and I love to do my yoga every morning. This morning, I have to say I didn't do that because we are talking. I didn't do it yet. So
Yes.
after our conversation later, I will do my 20-minute yoga. And I love to do that because the thing is, same with meditation, you are sitting down, and the thing is, you cannot not think about anything. It's not possible because our mind is going crazy. But you can focus on your breath, and that's what I try my best to do during yoga and also during meditation. And then I'm drawn away here and drawn away there, and I'm thinking, oh, I still need to do this, and oh, I still need to do that. And I catch myself by doing this, by not focusing on the breath. And then when I catch myself, I'm drawing my attention back to my breath, and I start breathing, just breathing in and out again. And I focus on breathing in and out, and maybe that will work for a few seconds, and then I will be drawn away again, and then I catch myself again, and I put myself back into this situation that I'm really focused on breathing in and out. And maybe that would be an interesting tip that I can give to people who are really super unhappy, to first get some silence. Because, if you do something that you are not happy, then you will be ranting about it, you will complain about it, you will be it will affect other parts of your life too. Maybe it will affect your relationship with your partner, with your kids, with your parents, I don't know, with yourself. So where it always starts and always ends is always ourselves. That's where it begins. We are coming to this earth alone and we are going alone. It will start with us, it will end with us. So we need to make sure that we do the right thing for us, not for anybody else. And I believe to get to that point, at least a little bit better, is to find some silence and find some way of get that silence and don't be distracted. Not another phone game, not another Netflix binge watching, not another texting on WhatsApp or scrolling on social media. Just take away all of this and focus for a moment on yourself, at least a moment. And if you do that, I believe if you do that for a month already, you have a pretty clear picture of what you want to do and where you want to go. The question is if you can. That's another question. But first, you need to find out actually what you want, right? Mm-hmm. Before you can find a way of achieving it, you need to know what you want to do. And I think that's the way of doing that.
And what do you think you've learned about yourself after having taken the dive into video work and production?
I learned so much.
Which is great. So it could be a few things. It doesn't have to be one thing if you want to share.
Yeah, I try to think where to start. I think that we live in a society and in a world where we need money to buy things, to pay bills and all of this. And this is important. And no matter we like it or not, that's the system we are living in and we need to accept it. So in the business I'm doing, there are always ups and downs. Sometimes I have one client only, sometimes I have 10. And it's not, as an entrepreneur, as a business person, it's not always running smooth. And what I learned in this time is to cope with that and to understand that I'm not living yesterday and I'm not living tomorrow. I'm living now. And what I do now might change how it is tomorrow for me. How is the quality of my life tomorrow? The only thing I can change is what I can do now. And that's what I maybe really learned. I've been worried so much when I started out with filmmaking, like, oh God, how can I do that? And so on. Luckily, I was too busy then because I had clients directly at the beginning. So I was not able to think too deep about, can I pay in 3 months my rent? Because I was too busy to work now, which was good because at the end I was able to pay the rent because of my clients, because I had enough. But of course, you're asking yourself this in that situation. I mean, my inner voice also asked me, "Are you crazy? You have work that you maybe not like, but it pays very well. I had a good life. I had like I said before, I really was not struggling with my situation. It was nice. So changing that was also a big step for me and for my ego. Actually, my ego was asking all the time, can you keep your life standard? Can you keep all of this? What if not? Will you succeed? You don't have any idea how to film. You need to learn so much. What if you totally suck at it? Yeah, all those questions are coming up, and I learned to listen less to my mind and listen more to my intuition. Maybe that was a big learning, actually. And also to accept the things I can't change. I'm still struggling sometimes with that, because I'm a person who works a lot and who is not easily to satisfy. I have high expectations of me, and I have high expectations of others, and I'm living up to those high expectations of me, and sometimes others are not living up to, of course they can't live up to my expectations because they are my expectations, but I need to still
Yeah.
learn to calm down, and to
Yeah.
understand that, not everyone is the same like me, and that this is good,
Mhm.
and I need to accept and appreciate the way they do that. And it's not always easy. So it's a lifelong learning process, more or less. But what I learned is maybe this, I didn't know what I don't know at the beginning. Yeah, I didn't even know what I don't know, and now I know that I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to dive into that a lot deeper than I've been willing to learn that before. When it has nothing to do with my business now, but when I came to Malaysia first in 2015 as well, um, there was a culture shock for me, because
Mhm.
if you order a cordon bleu. Do you know what yeah, you know cordon bleu, right?
Mhm.
Is basically a piece of either a pork or veal or chicken, and then stuffed with cheese and ham. In the US, in the Western world, that comes without bones. In Asia,
Mm.
not. I was like, what the hell? Why
It's more
they
work. I just wanna eat.
yeah, I just want to eat it. I just want to cut, and I was cutting that. Yeah, and back then my girlfriend said, you be careful, no, with the bone." And I was saying, "No, there is no bone inside. It's a cordon bleu. What are you talking about?" Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and I was like, what the hell? Why they are putting a bone? Yeah, that's the way they do it here, and so on. And I think I needed years to adapt to that kind of thing. Yeah, the same. You go
Mm.
uh, to a restaurant and you order something, right, from the menu, and you expect, because you expect, you know from your culture and how you are raised, that this special thing is in your mind is like that. How you get that in Germany, how you receive it in Spain, how you get it in France, in the UK, in the US, it's always in the same way. Yeah, but here it's not. They can call that thing a burger, but it's having rice. And you're like,
Oh, that's yeah.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, I was really struggling with this, because in terms of food, I really needed to accept a lot more flavors and a lot more that I was used to. So
Mhm.
now I'm fine. Now I love the culture and all of this, and I know what is what, and I know what can I expect from this. Yeah, whatever I order. But when you are drawn into a new situation, it was quite tough.
Yeah, it can be. So and I don't know if this is going to be too personal of a question, but the thought came into my mind, which usually I see happen in reverse. Uh,
Mhm.
but it's interesting that you chose to move to Malaysia to move with your wife versus a lot of the times you see a lot of the women that will typically move to where the man is located. And you guys could have gone to Germany or you could have gone to Mallorca, but why did
Mhm.
you choose to go to Malaysia? If you wanna
Okay, the
answer, if
first.
not, it's totally
No, no, no,
okay.
no, no, no. Pretty fine. Okay, the first thing
Mhm.
is, I decided to move away from Germany already when I moved to Mallorca, and I
Mhm.
made that decision for a lot of reasons. But okay, I don't want to be political in any sort, but let me just say it like that. Germany didn't really advance to the better in the last 10 years.
Mm.
Let me just put it like this, or even 15 years or 20 years.
Yeah.
I love Germany. No, I love being German. I proud to be German. If you see what all the things we invented, my ancestors 100 years ago and longer, and all of these things, I'm very proud of. But what Germany has become nowadays, I'm not very proud of. So I needed to make a decision for me back then because yeah, also for sure, I was influenced by doing those kind of coaching stuff within the financial industry. I can tell you everything about Target 2, about the EZB, about the Federal Reserve and how money works and all of these things I knew and I know. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to leave that country. Also, the taxation is super crazy. I mean, if you think
Oh,
about
okay.
you're a normal employee and you work half a year for the government, then it must be really, really good what you get from them, right? But if it's not good, you need to make a decision. And I made a decision. Either you can mourn about the whole day and can complain, yeah, and then you go voting the same people who put you in this situation. You can vote
Yeah.
for them again, yeah, very clever, or you change something. And the only
Yeah.
thing I can change with me being me is I go. That's how I can get rid of it. I mean, in Germany, you are taxed if you're living there. So I'm not living there anymore. And that was why I decided to go to Spain. Because Spain also a bit crazy and a little bit too socialist, all of them, yeah. But less tax. Okay, and Mallorca is
Yeah,
beautiful. Mallorca
you
is,
got the
you
beach.
know,
Yeah.
when you are like, okay, you pay 40%, but you're living there. All right, come on, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different way of life, yeah, and it's a different way
Mhm.
of enjoying your life. Yeah, and then I was in that situation, like I told you before. I was traveling a lot to Germany, and I was only between Germany and Malaysia, but still had an apartment in Mallorca, in Andratx, and I didn't know what to do. I clearly didn't want to move back to Germany, so there was actually this option that I had. It was with Malaysia, and the more I've been in Malaysia, the more I fall in love with that country. Huh? It's of course not all the things are good here. I mean, no country in the whole world everything is good. You always have things that can be improved and that could be better, but the life quality here, especially with the people around who are so easygoing and who are not just like just like the Germans in general, they are always grumpy and always complaining. So I thought, like, here I have a different environment that will
Yeah.
lift me up and that will make me feel good. And basically that happened. So I decided to try that out, and it worked pretty well.
Yeah, that's great. No, and it's nice to hear that because I feel like people are stuck with indecision a
Mm-hmm.
lot, a majority of the time because they're like,
Yeah,
do I stay here? Do I transition here? How do I even do that? And
yeah,
um, change can be very difficult for individuals when they're just
definitely.
shaken. And actually, this is kind of going back to a point that you made that you were in a very stable job, one that, yeah, paid you well, allowed you to live however you wanted,
Yeah,
but you didn't like it. Then you
yeah.
transitioned to doing something that you're absolutely in love with and you're passionate about, but there's a lot of chaos and instability at times. So it's just really interesting to see that you went from stability to instability because it was something that you had genuinely loved. Why do you think that is? Like, do you think that following your passion and what it is that you love is just chaos majority of the time, or do you think that it it pans out at the end, like it actually balances out, or you overcome it in time?
Um, I can I can be good in something that I'm doing even though I don't like it up to a certain level. There is a limitation that comes naturally because you don't love what you're doing. you're not passionate about it. But when you're passionate about something, there is no limitation. And, you know, I'm working every day 10 to 12 hours, and it's no work. And I'm happy my wife accepts that and gets along with it. And she's also an entrepreneur. That's maybe also one of the reasons. I mean, they have family business. They are Chinese. Every Chinese doing some kind of business mostly. So maybe I'm lucky to have found her. I'm for sure I'm lucky anyway. But to found her being not the typical employee and also have this like I don't know, CEO mindset or entrepreneur mindset. And I believe it's all about mindset anyway. So I don't prefer chaos. To me, what I'm doing, I mean, right now, it's always like, okay, sometimes you have more clients, sometimes you have less clients, like I said before, but I'm doing pretty well. And the thing that is making the difference for me is that I love what I'm doing. I genuinely love what I'm doing. I burned for that. That's my passion. You can put me into a room like this. I mean, you don't see it right now, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lights here, and a little monitor where I can see myself. My laptop is standing here, and I'm looking into a camera directly because I like to I set that up for Zoom calls and for like our conversation now, which is on Riverside. I see it up there. But I like to I have that. I mean, it's a small teleprompter that I can use the picture we are talking about with. So actually, when I talk right now, I look into your face, but behind your face there is a camera where I actually look in. So it's all those kind of things I set up. You can put me in this room for hours, and I will just love doing that. I'm not getting bored. I turn on some music, and there you go. And then I'm done rather fast than slow because I'm used to that already and I know what I'm doing after 10 years in the business. But
that German efficiency.
German. That's right. That's right. Here you go. But I love to do that, and I love to try out these things. And now it's how to say. I believe if you never experience this, it's not easy for you to understand. Not for you, Denise, for you, but for the people in general. If you never experience passion in what you are doing, that's why when I decided to go that way, I knew it was the right thing because my body, everything was saying yes to it. No matter the risks, the risk was only here in my mind, but my body and everything of it was saying yes, 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 do it, go that way. That's what you always wanted to do. And as soon as you found this, no matter you are now in a job that you maybe like a little bit, or you like your colleagues, but the job sucks, or, but you're doing it because you need to pay the bills, all of these kind of thoughts you might have. As soon as you found your passion, all of this will be obsolete because, if you follow your passion, money is a byproduct. Money is just energy that comes back to you because you invested first. For example, I'm getting paid well from my clients because I genuinely want to help them. They come to me and say, Christian, did you do this video for that and that company? Yes, that was me. Oh, can you do the same for us? Yes, I can. And then I go into that conversation with my client and I want to really know, okay, what you want to do. What is the target of this? Why you need a video? What is the reason behind? And I find out all of this, and I have sometimes hours long conversation with my client. But I really dive in and I really know what he or she or the company wants. What is the idea behind why they need me? I mean, sometimes I also have the conversation with people. They think they need a video, but they don't. And then I will tell them, you don't need a video. You need a target group. You need to do a target or an audience an analysis. You need to check out who is your target group. You don't even have one. If we make a video now, it might perform well, but you don't know. And if you show it to the wrong target group, it will definitely not. So all of this is what I love doing, and that's the step. Like that's the first step. Then the next step is storytelling. I'm coming up with a few stories that fit to the target group that we defined, or to the brand values that are important for my client. And from there we take it. My client decides which story aligns with him or with the company best. Okay, then we go for this one. Then we go in production and we the post production, and finally there is the video coming up, which then will be put out to some sales funnel or whatever, and it will perform. And from this, as it will perform, I will get back energy in form of payment, of course, but also in form of that the client tells me, okay, we are with you for the next 10 years because you're doing a great job. But could you do something for my brother-in-law who also have, And that only happens if you are doing something that you love. If you are doing something for money, it will not work. It's very simple.
No, and that's great to hear as well. It is, because some people, they get wrapped up in that argument. I don't know if you've ever heard of The Artist's Way by Julia Campbell, I believe. But
I don't think so. Yeah.
It's a book that it really makes you go through a lot of different exercises to, one, like uncover a lot of the different things that we've talked about, like what is your passion? How do I get there? How do I break limiting beliefs? And there's always this idea of like the broke artist. And so a lot of people will think, well, how can I even transition into this? Like, it's not going to pay well. And it could be something so like, something so random. But again, people might limit themselves to that. So when you're transitioning into something that you love, how much did you have to sacrifice of your old life in order to step into this new one?
Actually, not much.
Yeah, that's good.
To be honest, no, not much. I mean, yes, there were tough times, but that was because I've been focused too much on my client in that moment, which was good, but too less on marketing myself. And that's what I needed to learn back then, because when I was an insurance broker, I bought leads and then just called the lead and say, hey, yeah, this is me. I'm coming by because you need an insurance, right? All right, let's go. So it was easy to get new clients. When I transitioned to being a filmmaker, I had a very good start. But after that, I needed to start advertising myself, because the people didn't know what I was doing. They didn't know me at all. So I started to build up some social media, did some ad campaigns there and so on. And mostly what I needed to learn was that I show myself, just like what we are doing now. I mean, I'm in your podcast because I'm interested in how you do that and so on. And if any of the audience will ring me up after that and say, hey, Christian, you seem like a cool guy. Can you do a video for us? I will be very happy, But I don't believe I need to push myself so much forward, like, I'm the best filmmaker and I'm this and I'm that and that. It will come naturally to me because I love what I'm doing. And if I have other people in a similar situation like me, coming maybe from that point or changing the way of business because they want to follow their passion and they want to start doing what they love doing, then that they will be aligned with me already anyway. They will maybe hear that one day and say, "Oh, that guy is also the same like me." Maybe interesting to connect. These things they will come to you as they should come to you. I believe that you need to trust into the process. You need to stop your mind's voice maybe a little bit, ranting about, oh, but how can I do this? How can I do that? Take a deep breath and go with the flow. There is no, I don't believe there is any fast lane to success. There is, I forget who said that, but there was one guy in his 50s becoming a overnight success, more or less, with a film, if not mistaken. I really forget the name. And he was asked in an interview, how about your overnight success? How do you feel about it? Yeah? It was really overnight success for you. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then he said, yeah, my overnight success took me 25 years.
Yeah.
And that's it. And there is no such thing like an overnight success. You can be lucky to some kind, yes. But if you're lucky in the first place, then you still need to keep up to be able to do that. And that's exactly the same. If you're doing something that you don't like, you won't be successful in the long term. You will always reach your boundaries where you need to do something that you don't like. It's not working. That's what I truly believe. That's why even though you make a lot of money with your job that you are not happy with, there will be limitations. And even though that limitation will be your health one day because you're doing something that you're not happy with. And that limitation is not worth it, That's how I believe it. And that's why even though I might have less once in a while than I could have if I would go on with what I've been doing before in terms of money, in terms of financial success. I'm so much more successful with my heart and my soul than I could ever be with a few millions on my bank account. It's for me, there is no such thing like comparing that. I wouldn't be happy in what I'm doing. I wouldn't be fulfilled in what I'm doing. And this is draining so much more life quality than money can give you. It's simply not worth it. I would say the price you need to pay is way too high to be unhappy in a job you're doing just to get some money. It's not worth it.
Yeah. And it's really interesting too, because you were saying how things will just come to you. The energy will just come to you. And it's really interesting because and this is something that I usually start at the beginning of these podcasts where I say, hey, and we met through here. And coming full circle in a way, you and I met because you heard a previous episode of mine from Jessica, actually, and her experience in getting into film and video and her passion for it. And so it was funny because then you heard that, and again, you're international. You're over in Germany, you're over in Malaysia, and somehow you picked that up. And because I'm over in the United States, and now here we are, we're having a conversation, and it's just like, oh wow, this is exactly, you're the kind of person that I wanted to hear the story and to understand that, hey, again, just because we're in different countries, it doesn't mean that we're not all trying to do the same things or pursue the things that we love. Like we are all
Yeah.
still connected despite what the barriers and the boundaries are around
Yes.
here. So I think that that's a really cool example of how energy
Mm.
can just show up and come by.
Absolutely.
And
And
so I
and
think
you
that
see,
that's cool.
you've been supposed to be the host, and your audience supposed to be the audience that I talk to. So
Yeah.
it really aligns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with that, I really want to ask you, do you think that there's anything else that you would like to share with our audience as we go to wrap things up?
Um, you mean in terms of any tips that I can that?
Yeah. It could be tips, it could be advice.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, anything around that. Yeah. And then afterwards, please feel free to share how folks can reach out to you. I'm going to include all that
Okay,
in the
okay.
description because I'd
Mhm.
love for them to reach out and check out your website and
Sure, sure, sure.
your Instagram. Hmm.
Okay. If there is something that I might want to give as an advice or tip, or is I I I don't want to say something like advice, because who am I to give advice? I don't even know where that person who is just listening to our conversation stands in life. I have no idea where they come from and where they are going to, what they have been through. So, but what I can say is from my experience, from my own experience, is that and also what I read and what I heard is that most of the people at the end of their lives, they don't regret to not take action, to take action. Sorry, this way. They don't regret to take actions and to make a decision. They never regret this. They regret to not take action and not make a decision. They, they regret to didn't go for something. They didn't do something. They regret this. And that's what I believe was also helping me. Maybe this kind of mindset was helping me to decide, because I was rather happy to try it and fail than not trying it and always wanted to try and always regretting that I didn't go that way. You know, I could be now I'm 38, 10 yeah, over 10 years after that, I could be even more successful. I could have another few companies and selling real estate together, and gold and silver and insurances and whatever, but totally unhappy.
Mhm.
And that's no point. That's no point in life quality, I believe. Yeah. And then it will, for sure, it will, because it's not meant to be me in that industry, me doing that. It's not meant to be whoever declares that or says that, but it clearly was not me being there. I was supposed to maybe try that out a few years and be successful and get to a certain point in my life where I live very comfortably, but start to understand that my heart and my soul are not up to this kind of thing. And I believe that all had to be like that. I mean, I could also say now, oh, if I would go to film school, I could learn so many things so early. And I could also complain about that, right? I mean, I needed to learn all by
Yeah.
myself. I use YouTube more than maybe other people a lot in
YouTube
that time,
Academy.
yeah?
Yeah.
Day and night. And then running to the camera. Oh, that camera can do that. Okay, I didn't know. I needed to learn everything from scratch. And I could also complain now, oh yeah, if you would go to Lee Strasberg Institute in New York and this and that, yeah. But maybe that's not the way I was supposed to do that. And to me, that pretty worked out pretty well, the way it did. And I'm very grateful to have this chance in my life to be that person and to go that way, and also help other people with me being creative. That's so cool. I mean, I do something that I love and I get paid for that because other people like what I'm doing. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
maybe to change to finish that, Denise, with this being said, I believe everyone should at least try to find something that they pursue, not because of the money, but because of they really want to do. And not everyone need to take that leap of faith like I did, jumped into the cold water, stopped one thing 100% and started another one 100%. That's how I did that. I decided basically overnight, more or less, and I abandoned that job and I started new one. And
Yeah.
I could feel the numbers immediately
Mm-hmm.
changing. Because there I was getting money on a regularly basis and I abandoned that. Done. Next. Nobody needs to do that step so hard, but at least start listening to yourself, to your intuition, to your gut, and estimate and find out what is it that is driving your passion, and then you can start from that slowly and maybe do that. However, find that out. Do that as a side hustle, a side job, something that you slowly build up. And yeah, maybe you're not too sure, is this the right thing? Try it out. And if it's the right thing, if it's supposed to happen, you will make a lot more money by not wanting to make money, actually. Because you're just following your passion. Yeah.
Mm.
So and the last thing I am supposed to say is sharing my things. Well,
Yeah.
the people can find me via my website, christian-schu.com. Schu is written SCHU
Mm-hmm.
.com. They can reach out to me via Instagram, Christian Schu Film with a Christian _Schu_ film. They can find me easily. But I believe it will be the easiest way to just go to the description of the podcast and just have a look there. I think that's way easier than typing from what I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hopefully it is. They click on it and they're like, oh, it actually does take me
Yes.
to where I need to go.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, well, Christian, I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your morning and your yoga and breathwork routine and meditation routine, actually,
Yes.
to chat with me today. I really do appreciate it. And for you to share your experiences and share your story and to really provide that encouragement for individuals to go and explore what it is that they're passionate about or even could be passionate about if they're not yet there. And to our listeners, I want to thank you, like always, for your time, for involving us in your life and just being open minded to hearing another person's story. So, thank you all so much. Like we noted, I'm going to add Christian's information in the bio. So, please feel free to check that out. He does some amazing videos. I saw it on Instagram already. I did my little creeping around. So,
Thank you
confirmed
so
it
much,
does look
Denise.
great. And so, thank you all so much again for listening. And until the next time, thank you.
Thank you.